I think we got a lot of people in here. It'll be dope to kind of discuss this topic, bro.
Yeah,
I think this would be
definitely.
this is gonna be a cool one.
And Jay Rich, you can hop on live too, bro. Send Z a request to get on.
Yeah, anybody today, man, who wants to pop in, man. We was talking about the question the other day, man, and we kind of wanted to just pose it to everybody who be rocking with us and stuff like that. The big overall question, you know what I'm saying, not taking either side out the gate, but just is college worth it? Like, is going to college worth it? It's, you know what I mean? You know, it's the debt involved.
Yep.
It's, you know what I mean? It's a lot of pieces. It's a lot of pieces to going to college, bro. And for a lot of people, it's kind of like, you know, when you're out right out of high school, it's really like college, military, straight into a job. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you just what you feel like the next thing that you need to do
Yep.
is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we just wanted to kind of hop on here and see, like, you know what I mean? Just pose the question, like, is college worth it?
Yeah.
You feel me?
What do you got? What do you guys think?
hmm So shout out to everybody who's up in here, man. But yeah, that's the $1 million question right now. Is college worth it? I'm sure there's probably, opinions all over the place. Polar opposites. There might be some people who are in the middle on the fence. But whatever you're feeling, whatever you think, we'd love to hear it. Like
Right.
we think it's a really good subject, a really good topic. We all obviously know each other from college. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big aspect of it. But we just really want to tap in with everybody, have this conversation, live, and give everybody the opportunity to share their opinions on the floor, because we want to have conversations like this on a daily,
Right.
weekly. We want to give people the opportunity to speak up because college is college is a lot, and
Yeah, it's true, man. For me,
Let's start first with the cons.
right.
Let's go into the cons because we're going to touch on both sides anyway.
well,
So let's.
do y'all think college is worth it?
I mean, I would say it depends, right? Because I'm in the middle. It depends on what you're trying to go to college for and what your overall your end goal. Because overall, I believe that college is conditioned to make you an employee, right? At the end of the day, you go to college. Most of the things they teach you is to like go and get a job, and then work for someone else, right? And then grow through the corporate ladder. So, I mean, that's not necessarily bad, right? But for someone who has a whole different perspective on life and what they want to do with their life, then that can be, putting yourself into a box.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are a lot of pros and cons overall. And one thing for me is like, that when you're trying to think about it, right? If you're 18 years old, you're not allowed to go to the liquor store and buy alcohol, right? You got to be 21. However, though, going to college, bro, they allow you to take on insurmountable amount of debt as 18-year-old,
Yep.
like without having any financial literacy or any guidance, right? So it's kind of like puzzling sometimes. Like they allow you to do those things now, and then you can just go and accumulate a lot of debt. And funny thing is, a lot of people that I know who went to college, bro, they have crazy amount of debt. And see, me, I didn't have a lot, right? And there are other people who chose career path
Yeah.
that's not lucrative for them, and now they're like struggling, to get by. So if that person would have guidance early on and just figure out what they really wanted to do, I think it would have been better if they would have explored or maybe community college, trade school, or other options because there are other things out there too
Yep.
than just going to a college and getting a degree.
hmm
So I'm like in the middle, if I'm being honest. What about you guys?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you think?
I kind of think I feel you on that, bro. It's kind of in the middle because it's like I said, like at 18, you really just came out of high school. Like, how think
Mhm.
about back to being like 17. I mean, I think I went into college at 17. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
you're young, bro. Like, you go straight from high school to college most of the times. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's kind of hard to, like you said, even conceptualize
right,
like certain things about college, like debt and just you go into the fast food office and you don't realize like the loans is going to be like sitting on you for like for most people the rest of their life.
right.
I remember the first job I got into after college. The dude, I think I was working with you,
Yeah,
Diamond. It was a dude at CNA,
right.
and I was talking to him one time, and he was like happy. He was probably like 65. You know what I'm saying? And he was happy. What's good, man? It was like he's like, I just made my last student loan payment.
I remember that. I remember that.
I was like, that's insane. Like and I was working the same job as him. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I was like, that's insane, bro. So I think I'm in the middle on it. If I'm giving my pride thing, it's the connections alone for me is gonna always make it worth
Right.
it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
But that's a piece of that goes into like what you do and who you connect with while you're there. But
Yeah.
for me, I think I would have to lean and give the nod to being worth it, just because the people that I met there, you know what I mean, like alone, that's probably priceless. You
Right.
know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And just meeting different types of people from different places that's kind of like trying to do something and all having to be in the same place and just figure it out. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of like it's like it's easing you into the real world in like a safety net kind of situation. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
know,
Right.
at the same time, just having a lot of people around you that are like young and at least probably want to try to do something
Yeah.
is
Right.
dope from different places and stuff like that is dope, man, as opposed to just getting thrown into like a job.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
But
yeah, for me,
my
I would go towards worth it. I would lean
right.
my first push would be worth it. You know what
Then I have a question for you, then,
I mean?
Ramon. Do you think you can still create and make that connection without going to college? Then, because I'm sure, if you're participating in like other networking events, you can still be around like-minded individuals. So, is that connection? You think that's connection is worth it to go and accumulate that amount of debt to build that connection?
Funny question. But now, to be honest, I would say yes, and the difference is because you'd have to forcefully put yourself in those rooms, right?
Mhm.
And
Facts.
I think the difference is about when you go to college, it's like you're naturally putting yourself in those situations. So there's some people that you just might meet because they're in the same dorm rooms as you, or like you know what I mean, they might be your roommate, or you know what I mean, you're like just in the same mentality, and
Right.
y'all go through certain things together. Like y'all gonna be broke together. Like you build like real genuine friendships, kind of probably wherever you are, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
for me, it's worth it because you could go to the networking events, but the person that you meet at the networking event might not connect with you the same way when y'all sharing noodles,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? In the dorm room, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just not, you know what I mean? Like y'all got $40 to y'all name, but y'all going to the club tonight together. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's just it's a different type of connection. I feel like
Yeah.
um when you kind of going through the same things together, bro, and it's natural. Like you know, you there every day, so you can go to the networking events, but how often are you going? Are you going
Facts.
Yeah.
every day?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So yeah, bro. That's what I would say to that. You know what I mean? That's just it's a personal one because, like you said, it's a high price tag, and it ranges
Right.
from what people went to school for. It's a high
Right.
price tag. You know what I mean? Just to I'd say make some friends,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. I think it's more just like the networking and opportunities and just what it like introduces your mind to while you're there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly. Agree. I mean, kind of piggybacking off of that, I agree with Ramon in a lot of senses. I'm leaning more on the fence of I think it is worth it. I did want to give a quick shout out to Nana. She said it's the best investment you can make for yourself. So shout out to her for that. And then Dane said, especially when you went to CSU and everybody wants to be your friend. So, but yeah, I think college it's all very situational, right? You know,
Right.
like I don't think college is the right answer for everybody. You
Facts.
know, I am a firm believer in higher education. I think your education and continuing to grow your knowledge and your network is something that's totally worth it. But there's obviously like that's situational. Not everyone's going to do that. Like, you know, like some people are going to drop out. Some people just it doesn't necessarily apply to their life. Like, you know, some people just don't learn well in a classroom. And I totally
Facts.
college
That's a
might
fact.
college might be a waste of money for a person like
Right.
that, you know. But for a person like myself, you know, who was pretty social, you know, like who was out there, you know, like in networking and got to meet a lot of great people. I mean, obviously, like, you know, I said like we all met in college and we're you know, we're dogs for life, you know, kind of thing. So it's just like I think that is something that is priceless, you know, to
Right.
Keith's point earlier is sometimes it's not necessarily just what you gain from it from an educational standpoint, but very much so like your network and granted I'm a firm believer it takes money to make money, and you have to be willing to invest in yourself. And that was an investment that I was willing to take. You know, like, and I think, like, granted, I do still have student loans that I'm paying off, but I think it was a very much like a worthwhile expense that I would willingly pay again. I probably would have done it a little differently, like knowing what
Right.
now and having the opportunity to go back. But like when you're 18 and you don't really necessarily know what all life has ahead of you. You just know that you want to ultimately be in a place where you can be around people who are probably growing and want things too. I think it's a great. I almost look at college as a big 4-year long convention, right?
Right.
Like conventions, because like you want to meet people who are probably in a similar space. You probably have similar interests, those types of things. And I think college does present yourself with a platform to be able to do that.
Right.
It's a live social platform. Like I can go out into like, the courtyard and, go out to the plaza, go to this particular dorm and just go meet people like
Mm-hmm.
in real, like, and people who probably are around my age, people who may not have the same major as me, but like might have similar ambitions, similar goals, kind of thing. And I think that's something that is priceless. Like I don't think it's always
Right.
just the education of college that makes it worth it. But to that point, like I said, I think it is situational. That's
Right.
not gonna, because there were people, like, I was social. We were all social, but there were
Right.
people who probably didn't speak to another soul like throughout college. They probably got straight
Yep.
A's, but
Right.
they didn't speak
Facts.
a single college.
Facts.
So it really is situational. It's not gonna apply to everybody, but
Right.
for the people that it
And
works for, I think it's
and going back to what you said earlier about just connecting with people. However, there were people who never went to CSU and they were on campus all the time, and they were
that's
able
true.
to connect with
That,
everyone. So
Right.
that is true.
Right.
You would have, like, what class did I see you in? Like, I wasn't. I
Yo,
was. I was.
further than that, I knew a couple people that was, the classrooms was too big to control who's in there. I
right.
know a couple people that was sitting in the classrooms and they had no business. They had no business in there. So it's kind of a wild thing, but like low key, you could probably get a whole college education for free
Facts.
if you just went in and just went into the classes.
Right.
Yep.
Like that's why
Right.
it's a wild thing, right? But that's why I don't think it's necessarily about just because like who's gonna do that though? Like
Right.
right? Like it's just it's harder to do when you're not connected in there when you don't have a natural schedule. How are you kind of like providing for yourself while you're doing that? You know what I mean? So
That's true. If you look at it.
yeah,
Then my question would be though, do you think you need college to be successful then? Right? Do you think you need that to be successful? What do you guys think? What do you guys thoughts on that?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
I
Definitely
don't
not.
need college. Some of the most successful people in college life, or some of the most successful people in life, didn't go to college. Some of them dropped out. Like, so I don't like more. What's more important than college is a plan.
Right.
Like, and as long as you have a plan or whatever the case may be, like I think a lot of the most successful people in life, they may not have needed college, may not have needed a degree. They did need a plan, like, and so I think that's ultimately like what college does set you up for to a degree, right? Like, like I think it does present a possible plan for you. To your point, Diamond, what you said earlier, it's more of like the corporate 9 to 5 like lifestyle, that like the plan that is going to lay before you. Like if you go and get a business management degree, you can find yourself a pretty decent job in business, like, and can kind of bounce around and whatnot, like whatever. It also depends on what your major is, of course.
Right.
So,
Right.
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I don't think you need it though. You
Right.
don't.
I mean, that's the narrative that's been pushed, right? Because I believe, like, you need college to be successful. And then as an
Mhm.
18-year-old, you don't know what to do. You're like, all right, I have to go there,
Yeah.
even though I'm not quite sure, even though I don't know what I want to do, but I have to go there and, sign up for all these loans. And most of the time, it's like you graduate with degrees are not sometimes marketable. Because
Yeah.
for me, like I told you guys last week, I was a psychology major I mean, I was undecided for a while to junior year, right? Because I didn't know what I was trying to do,
Mhm.
All right.
and then when I got psychology and I realized I did my research on that, in order for you to like make a decent earnings, you need to have like a higher education after you graduate. And I'm like, God damn, I don't know if I want to go back to school again. So let me.
God damn, same, bro.
So I had to like pivot a little bit. I had to like, I was trying to get a business degree, but it was kind of like too late for me to like join the college of business. So I had to
Mhm.
like pivot and then got an econ degree. And I believe that by me doing that, it was able to like help me kind of like land the job that I currently
Yeah,
have today. But then at the same time, I know a lot of, because like our first job, I don't think we actually needed a college degree for that
Any
position.
specific thing, right? Like, nah.
But I feel like that's the narrative is just pushed out there. I think if we have like from high school, right, if we have counselors that could like educate us on overall how college is going to be, like figuring out what you want to do and showing like all the options, like going to trade school, like apprentices, there are all the avenues and stuff that we can learn. But those things are not really pushed out
yeah,
by the media.
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and I'm glad you actually. I think other options are becoming more readily available for a lot of people. Like specifically trade schools. What's crazy is like I don't know if you've heard the talks about it. Like like economists and stuff like that have just been saying that we might be transitioning. Like for the longest time, college has been pushed upon our society for so long.
Right,
Since the early 1900s and like to date, like that's been very very much so like pushed upon us in society. However, they see that transitioning now to being more like where trade schools are becoming a lot more sensible now. Like, like they're just becoming a lot more logical because you have so many people who are ending up in that situation of just being thousands of dollars in debt and not even utilizing their degrees anymore. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just that, a lot of us probably don't even work, in a profession that requires
right,
our degree, kind
I'd
facts,
probably say maybe
yeah,
80% probably. It would probably be a
of,
high percentage that don't. You know what I mean?
a lot, So there are other options out there that are readily available and are going to continue to be pushed, out there more. I think obviously with how people are learning and like with the way that technology is progressing and stuff like that, but it's all interesting, right? It's interesting, like to just see it unfold,
right.
really.
Just to take
And
the
also,
other side of it though, to take the other side real quick of that quest of that like I kind of see why people push people to go to college though, right?
Yeah,
Because it seems like the easiest like option to push someone to go do something
yeah,
different, right? Because it is like when you no matter what college you go to, if you go there and you stay in the dorms, you're probably leaving home.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you're leaving to another place that you haven't been. You're gonna be on your own for the first time. But like I said, there is like a kind of a safety net, right? It's like
right,
it's a place that they feel that you're probably safe at. If you're a parent, right? It makes sense to maybe want your a child to go to college because it's like it's pushing them out the house in a way that they are comfortable with. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because a lot of times if you don't do that, you got to figure out what at that point is the alternatives. And if you
yeah,
don't know them, you're probably just going to keep doing what you're doing. So if you just, like if you know, every summer break after high school, you just kicking it, probably when you graduate, the first thing you're going to be doing is kicking it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You
yeah,
know what I mean? And then you start having to think like, then what? You know what I mean?
right,
yeah,
So I see why people push people
yeah,
to
right,
go, but like at the same time, I don't necessarily like I said. It's just because people don't know the other
yeah,
options. What else? What
right,
else? What can you even tell? You know what I
right,
mean? The younger generations. If you say like, all right, let's say I don't want to go to college. All right, cool. Right. Then
right,
what? Then what? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Where's the conversation go? So
Because
it's
yeah,
just
from my own personal experience, I didn't have an option. Like, like my parents
yeah,
always told me, they were like, "You're going to college."
yeah,
Like there was no option. Like it was like you're
right,
going to college. And that was kind of always something that was like in the back of my mind always. Like I knew, like ultimately for my own personal like desires and stuff like that, I did want to go to college. Like because I knew that I did want to further my education, but I also wanted to like be in a new environment. To Pete's point, I wanted to be in something just different, right? Like high school was great, like all that stuff. Like I was very happy with my life and whatnot, but I wanted something more, like and I knew and I felt that college would be the next step in that for me,
right,
kind of thing. And I think college does and all the options that we're talking about, whether it be trade school, like community college, military, whatever the case may be, I think all of these options do present you with the opportunity to
right,
learn discipline.
right,
You know, a lot of people can go to college and still fail. Like they could drop out, they
mhm,
could like it could not necessarily stick for people, you know. So the fact that we went to college and still attended class and like, you know, like still passed and got our degrees and stuff like that, that all a piece of that was discipline to a degree. Like, we didn't necessarily have to go to class.
Right.
We didn't have to go to exams. You know, we didn't have to do any of those things. And granted, for my first year in college, I didn't do a lot of that. I'm not gonna lie. After my first semester in college, I'll tell anybody this. After my first semester in college, I had a 1.5 GPA. I was out here, you know. So I had a 1.5 GPA freshman year. My first semester of college. Your boy was living the best life, and
That boy, so that big 1.5, huh?
that was all for me personally, because like I had always been so
quinceañera. That 1.5.
big 1.5, baby. My key say, you know, that was my key say here. I was like, but that was a wake up call for me too, because like I had been somebody who always excelled in school,
Right.
like, you know, like I always got good grades and stuff like that, and so obviously, you know, I slacked on the discipline side and was just more so just like, oh, I was out living my best life, having a good time, out partying, all that. That might be one of the cons. You know, we talked about what are the cons of college. You know, like it does present yourself in an environment like where you can either thrive or you can tank.
Right.
You know, like and it does present you with that opportunity. You know, like, but at the end of the day, that was the wake up call for me, and obviously I got it after that. You know, like kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's a crazy thing. It is a crazy thing.
Right. And I would say the reason why the agenda has been pushed onto a lot of kids, for me, I look at it like as a business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they want you to go there. The more you go there, the more loans you're going to take, and the more you're going to be in debt. Because if you look at it, right, most loans are forgiven, but however, college debt are not forgiven. Why is that? Why is like every other loan they can forgive that once you file for bankruptcy? However, student loans, on the other hand,
I didn't know that.
I didn't.
You can't, like, if you file for bankruptcy, your student
No,
loans are still there.
it's just there, bro. Like you look,
Damn, I didn't know that.
yeah. You know, it's one of the loans is not forgiven, bro. So for me, it's like I think it's just like a system in a way to just like, you know, they're pushing the agenda. That's the only way you can become successful. So you go there and then you accumulate more debt because now you're thinking like, there's no way out for me, right? I have to go there to figure it out. And most of the time, like we talked about earlier, you go in there and you don't even know what to do, right? We major in degrees, or when we come out, we don't find jobs, you know, fail. And then we can like we could have gotten those jobs without even a college degree, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think overall, like because we live in like a capitalist economy, you know, it's always that for me, I look at it that because college, on the other hand, bro, it doesn't really teach you about when it comes to like financial literacy, right? It's not, those things are not pushed. It's just like the basic courses you have to take.
You cutting out a little bit.
We can.
I didn't hear you now.
Yeah, I believe that I could have learned most of the things that I learned in college without going,
Sure.
without spending that amount for, you know.
And I think like to add to that though, like especially like because we kind of I guess came up a little bit after like or in like the YouTube era, right? You can YouTube like YouTube University, they be calling it that, but it's really like, you know what I mean? Like you can find out any piece of information that you want. You know what I'm saying? You can ask Siri anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so it's kind of like just kind of knowing what questions to ask is kind of, you know what I mean, is the only thing, because you know the answers are there. You know, so it's kind of like, I think when you're young, you just don't really know what the questions are to even ask. You know what I mean? Or like understand any kind of, you know. And a lot of times you don't come from people that are like, you know, telling you like these things because they don't know them. You know what I mean? Like financial literacy is not it's not like a talked about thing in a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely, and that's why I think a lot of people do choose to go to college, right? Because like, you know, like you might be like a first generation student, like, you know, like somebody like you might be the first one to go to college, you know, like, and they've already looked at that as a success, you know, kind of thing. But it's just like, you know, like ultimately you want more than what your family has been positioned with thus far. Like, so it's just like, all right, how do I go about and figure out how to move forward and continue this progression in life? Like, kind of learn those things. Like, granted, things like financial literacy and stuff like that aren't things that we're taught enough in school, like, period, like kind of thing. But to your point, Diamond, I do think you could learn a lot that we learned in our obtaining our degrees. You could learn that outside of school, but like, I don't think, to Key's point, I don't think a lot of people would even know how to, like, where do you start? Like, especially when all you know is probably like your family and your friends, and it's just like they have the answers for you. It's just like, well, where do you go? It's a little different now because we're in the technology era where, like, literally everything is at your fingertips. Everything is at your discretion. If you want to go learn about it on YouTube, like you said, you can ask Alexa, you can ask, Siri, you can ask Google, you can, like, so many different options. If you want to obtain, go out and learn it, but like, I think a lot of people need that, that, not that necessarily that authority in their lives, but they need someone to tell them what to do, how to do it.
Some type of structure. Some type of structure to it.
Not everybody functions well without structure.
Right, but going back to my point though, how would it tell you that, right? Because they don't want you to know. It's like no information. Because if they want you to know, you're gonna figure it out, and now you probably not want to do it, right? So I feel like they hide those information from us, right? They just push that agenda for sure. Because at the end of the day, you know what? Hold on for a minute. I can learn. Maybe let me take a year, right? Maybe I don't have to just go to college right after high school. Let me take a year and just explore. Because I believe that at that time you're already thinking about what you want to do. A year. Being 18, if you don't start at 18, you can start at 19. But if you have that option to say, you know what, let me take a year and do research and explore to figure out what I want to do. But however, I just believe like from high school, they don't push that agenda to you, right? Because they don't want you to think about it. They just, I believe, right? Maybe it might be conspiracy, but they just want you to like go by their program. And
The system.
Program, like,
Doing the system, right? Like you said, they want to just insert you into the system and keep the society running, for real.
Keep it going. Keep it
going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In order for capitalism to thrive, you need people to buy into the system. And that's exactly what we've done for so long. It has been buying into the system, like, kind of thing. Now, I think that there are so many people who are out there who are being blazing their own trails and are figuring out the system does not work for everybody, for people with our skin tones and stuff like that. Like, the system is not necessarily always going to benefit us, kind of thing. So we do have to figure out other opportunities, like, kind of thing. So I think and we're taught that, honestly, not even just like in college and high school. We're literally fed these things, like, from the moment that we're born. Like we're taught to where it's learned for us to be a part of the system. Like, like it's just how our society works and worked for years, like literally hundreds of years, and will continue to work. Because for capitalism to thrive, you need people to buy the system, and majority of people are going to buy into the system. Because
of course.
The majority of people, like we said, to that point, need that structure, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, like, if people want to be a part of the system, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, if you do want to break the mold and create your own path, like, and challenge the status quo, present your family, your friends, your network with new opportunities, you have to go against the grain, and you do have to figure out things a little bit harder. Like, it's going to be harder because you don't have someone with laying the structure out there for you. Like, unless you maybe you have a mentor or whatever the case may be. If you're out there just like figuring out on your own, it is going to be a more difficult path, but it's not impossible. Like, not everyone's built for that though. Like, like, so.
And that's the same thing with corporate grind, right? It made us believe that, in order to become successful 9 to 5, right? And now we realize we're working out, we're like, hold on, this is cool and everything, but we can do way more than just the whole 9 to 5 grind, right? It's good for you, but I believe like we are on this live right now. That's something we're trying to do completely different. We're not trying to like follow that path forever, because we know that the life that we're trying to live, that path is not going to give us that life. So nice, we try to like think different and create a whole new thing. But like you said earlier, not that many people are willing to do that, right? Because it's easier, it's convenient, it's comfortable, so you just follow it. But I believe that, sometimes you have to like wake up and ask, like, why am I doing this, right? Do I really want to do it? And also when you look at college too, sometimes most people go, especially kids, because their parents want them to go. They don't want to.
But that's
They don't want to do it.
to be fair, I think that's why most people do anything, right? That's why most people are in the religion they in, and
Right.
most people they in politics where they sit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know, I think that's kind of like it's just you're in a household that just tells you this is probably what it is
Yeah.
for so long, and then it's just like, all right, you know what I mean?
Right.
You
You
know,
know?
everything is learned, right? You probably
Mhm.
like the probably like the sports teams that you like because you're family.
Fact.
Like
Yep. Mhm.
everything is like that's just that's how life literally works. You know, like you pass things on down to the next generation and so on and so forth. You know, like that's just literally how things work. You know, we talk about tradition and stuff like that all the time. You know, like but when you're creating your own tradition, when you're creating your own path, you know, like I said, you might be a first generation student who's going to college for
Right.
the first time. You're the first one to do it. You know, you're blazing your own trail. You're figuring these things out. You know, but that's also going to be something that like even though you are feeding into the system to a point because you are going to school and like further
Right.
education, you're still presenting yourself with the opportunity to grow and to
Right.
learn more. Like maybe you might figure out that school isn't everything that is like it's projected to be. Like and maybe this isn't the path for you. But the fact that you even decided to make that decision in the first place, because honestly, like we talked about it earlier. One of the biggest pieces of college, I think, is
Right.
networking, right? Like I can tell you a handful, if way more than a handful of people that I still talk to this day from college. You
Right.
know, like a lot of my best friends are still from college, and like people who are going to be a part of my network forever. When I think back to high school and how many people I still talk to from high school, that list is very small. Like kind of thing, and it's because I think in high school, like the amount of growth that I went through in high school and the amount of growth I went through in college are two completely different things. Even though that's only like 4 years apart, like I think those are still very critical pieces of like points of your your timeline. Like from
Right.
18 to 22, I think is a very critical timeline. Because that's when you're truly figuring yourself out. You're truly figuring out what it is that you want to do. Maybe the people that you want to be around. So I think it is important, very imperative to build your network of people like during that period of time, because those are the people, like to P's point earlier, those are people you're going to gravitate towards because you've been through so much together. Like like we were broke together, like
Right.
living off of can you get me with a swipe, bro? Like I ran out of I only
Woo, remember them?
I can't
That when the homie used to have an extra swipe for you in the doors,
they
boy.
extra
Extra
swipe.
meal, boy. Come on.
There would be times where I would stay literally from lunch to dinner, like in
Right.
would just shopping, but also me, I didn't want to eat. So I was just like, let me just go ahead and kick it up in here in this food court until because I don't want to use another swipe, kind of thing. Like, but it's just like when you go through those experiences, with those people, like it helps you grow closer together. And I think it's harder to build a network outside of that structure, outside of a place like that where people are just gathered, to
Right.
like ultimately progress themselves. Like it's harder to do that outside of like that kind of environment. Like yes, you can go to community events and gatherings and stuff like that. But I don't think that's always necessarily going to be the same, like kind of thing. Like you really have to be very intentional about that. Like, whereas with college, you don't necessarily have to be as intentional.
Yeah.
Like
You
you
can
can
accidentally
stumble
connect
upon
with
people.
people. I think
I mean,
I accidentally connected with y'all. Like I
right.
don't think it was like you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go find some friends today. Like you
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
I mean, it depends too, right? Because the same argument could be for, like, say you might be, a good kid in high school and not have so much exposure, and now you go to college, and now you're with a bunch of people. Now you're partying every weekend, doing alcohol and all kinds of hard drugs. So so I think it's all about sometimes what you want too, right? Your intention of what you want. So I think if your goal is to like make it a positive experience from it, you can create that, right? But at the same time, man, if you're not someone who's strong and have a good friends around you, because most of the time when kids are going right, they're free. The parents are not there no more to guide them. So now they are making their own decisions. It's a lot easier to be peer pressure and do a lot of things that you would normally wouldn't
facts.
do if you're at home.
Yep.
So it's like,
Shout out to Ray
Well,
Winley. I
Ray
see Ray Winley.
William popped in.
Shout out to
That boy
Henry.
Ray.
But we've all
go ahead,
like
Ron.
we've all talked about this to this point. If you had the opportunity to go back to college, would you have changed your major?
For me,
Hell
of
yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Because I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like,
Man,
go ahead, Ramond.
you know, actually though, to be fair, bro, I always, cause I'm be honest with, I'm a communications major, and you know, I know some people look at that like it's, you know, whatever, but they have different looks at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, when I was younger, I wouldn't necessarily consider myself the best
Yeah.
communicator. So I did learn a lot of just like how to, you know what I mean, like how to communicate my message to. I think like a lot of things that I was able to do in life was because I was able to like communicate my vision to people. Like they not like so I could think of something, and but if I couldn't explain it to nobody, they wouldn't. You know what I mean? Or if I couldn't even connect with them to explain it, I don't think I was like a natural, you know what I mean, connector when I was younger. I
Right.
was kind of like a shyer kid. So just knowing how to communicate was, you know, shout out to Ray Wimley. He said, "You do be
Yeah.
communicating,
That,
though."
that,
You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, I want to overlook it because I would probably say I wish I would have like changed it to something that could have been more lucrative. But I
Right.
even knew at that point that I wanted to be
Right.
doing music. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So if I knew that and I wanted to partner with something, maybe business would have helped,
Right.
like business and
yeah.
Right.
music like that. But at the same time, being able to communicate the type, you know, to the level that I've learned from, you know, different things in class, outside of class, and just tests and stuff like that. I want to say I would change it. I probably would if you know just to see
Right.
like if I go back through it.
Right.
But like I've accepted it as I'm older. Like it's not about just being lucrative out of it. It's about
Right.
kind of like what I took from it and apply. You
Right.
know what I mean? If I can connect with somebody that can show me the game, then I don't even need to necessarily be in that major. I can
Mm-hmm.
I can chop it up with somebody that could just tell me like, you know, student loans can't leave your uh
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Your credit. So you know, so just being able to talk, and I always feel like if you're able to talk, you're pretty much able to do anything.
Yep.
You
Right.
Yeah.
can put yourself in any
Yeah.
situation. You know what I mean? So I think I would change if I had the option,
Yeah.
but I've accepted it. I'm cool with
Right.
Yeah.
having being in communication.
And
So
also the albums that remind, I feel like that's just you though, because that's you. Because I feel like by knowing you, you're the type of person who seeks self improvement.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what degree you would have gotten, you still would have worked on communication because you knew music is something that you're trying to do, and I feel like communication is a big part of it.
Yeah.
So I believe like
mhm.
no matter what you would have done, that's something you will still work on. However, there are other people who got communication degree. They can't communicate for nothing. You know?
That's very true.
They
That's a
got
fact.
masters. I'm like, how you got masters in communication? You can't even communicate, you know? So for me,
That's,
I
A
think,
master's.
I I hard. Ray said that boy could sell heat to Antarctica. I'm back. That boy he saw them. But to your point, Diamond, like I agree. Like it doesn't work out in that situation for everybody, you know, kind of thing. And if I could go back, I absolutely would change one of my degrees, like because I double majored. I double majored in communications and sociology. I definitely would have changed the sociology
yeah,
piece, and
at that,
I definitely would have majored in business. You know, just
right.
because I like that would have been more applicable to like ultimately what I want. Because to your point, P, I knew in college that I wanted to do music as well. Like I knew like
Mhm.
ultimately the day music was always going to be like that was my purpose, that was my passion. You know, but like I knew that like that was a big reason why I got into communications was because I knew like with a communications degree I could go into like radio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did do radio in college. You know, like I did radio in college, and I considered going into radio after college too. But I also like knew that radio was a dying industry too. You know, like it's really only lucrative for people who are like, you know, like people like Charlemagne and stuff like that. People who are very like prominent figures in radio. Like you know, like it's not necessarily the best career for somebody who's just the regular, you know, the average person, you know, like
Right,
in kind of thing. But I absolutely would have changed the degree, you know, like. But I also think that's like a lot of life, like you know,
right,
like if we would have gone back and like would have been able to do something
right,
different. We would have, because hindsight is
right,
right, you know, like
right,
looking back on a lot of things now, like change this, you know, but also like I am grateful for everything that I've experienced thus far. I'm me now because of like
right,
all that I've made.
right,
So I like I'm not gonna take any of that for granted. Like, you know, like
facts,
of course go back and change this one thing, I would change it, you know,
right.
like of course.
I knew for, oh, of course. bro. Like, yeah, for me, I'm gonna definitely change that psychology degree.
Yeah.
Like for sure. Like what? Like you know,
I said what?
because I'm trying to think, right? Because if when I do my research, in order for you to like become have a higher earning potential in psychology, a bachelor is not gonna cut it, bro. It's not
Yeah,
really gonna
yeah,
do anything. You know what I'm saying? So you have to get like master. You have to get these advanced degree. And knowing what I know right now, I'm not gonna go back and waste like 4 years and getting a degree because I know because if you look at it right, let's say if your goal is going to college, because most people who go to college, they're trying to get a job afterwards. That's
Yeah.
the end
Yeah.
goal. So for me, knowing what I know right now, I'm going to put myself in a position to get a job, at least that it's going to be lucrative enough to pay off my debt instead of
Yeah.
just
hmm
getting a degree just to say, oh, I got a degree now, but that degree is not applicable to other things that I'm trying to do. I don't just want to have a degree just to say I have
Hmm.
it when knowing that I
hmm
can't really use it. So definitely, I would definitely do that and change my psychology degree, of course. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to all
Yeah.
my psychology people out there, bro. I ain't keeping that.
I, yeah. Nah, and it's so tough for me, bro, because like I would say that, but like if I think about like if I did that, right, and then like let's say I got like a high paying job right out of college, right, and it just like sometimes high paying jobs can like kind of like trap you in them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
let's say I got like a 90K right out of college or
right,
80K, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it required a lot of me.
right,
Time
Hmm.
moves fast,
Yeah.
bro. You
right,
know what I mean? And I always wonder, like, if I had done that, me and Z talk about this, if I had done that, would I have ever made my way back to music somehow? You know what I mean? Like, would I have ever, I think I would have because I'm passionate
right,
about it, right? But if I
right,
was making stuff that just like require, I remember even at work in CNA, bro, it used to take so much energy out of me at that
right,
time. I couldn't even really do music. I was just like, bro, I'm just gas. I can't really do anything. If I'm trying
right,
to work out a little bit, that's it. I'm not, you know what I mean? I can't really do much.
Hmm.
right,
You know what I mean? So if I did get one of those jobs that right and that required a lot and then just kept, I know me, I naturally probably put effort to move up. You know what I mean? So I
right,
probably would have been, you know what I mean? But then I probably would have lost sight of some of the things I really love to do. And
right,
there's certain things that I do that like always just make me feel alive when I do them. And then, just, and no matter, there's a point that you can't pay me to give up certain things.
right,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd rather just be like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'll just go do this. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Not
um,
all money is good,
yeah,
right? Like that's going to learn. Ray asked a good question. He said, "Would you have met the people that you know now hadn't you gone to college?" Um, and I can say for sure no.
definitely
Like a
not.
lot of the people are in my network now. Like it's funny because P and I we talk about this all the time. What life would look like had we had chosen another college too? Like right, like your entire network like would be completely different.
For
Like
sure.
kind of thing. Like we wouldn't know any of each other. Like probably like
right,
that maybe like through mutual friends or something like that. But outside of that, we wouldn't know the people that we know today because of this. Like I said, honestly, like I can speak for myself personally. A lot of my network is still from college. Like kind of
right,
like therefore I know like a lot of the people that I've met today and even over the years. Some of the like relationships that I've like met friends and stuff like that. My network would be entirely different.
yeah. I would say I disagree with you. Z, we would have met on IG, bro.
That's insane. In the gym or something.
No, that's true. That I believe that. But however, man, I just believe sometimes, man, like if the stars are aligned, I feel like God for sure.
Yeah.
There are some people if you believe in spirituality and God and all that. I feel like God for sure, man. He just know there are certain people that are gonna be in your life, right? I just
hmm
believe that no matter what, if you would have went to certain college, if that person was supposed to be in your life, I just believe it would have, it would have happened. But at the
Somehow.
same time, you're right. There's certain experience
Hmm.
that I might not have had, right? But I just
Mhm.
believe, man, people that was meant to be in my life. I would have just followed you and Ramond on Instagram, bro. We would have just been on there.
And from there on, it would have been like, yeah, you're pretty cool, man.
I like your music, bro. Oh man, you need to work out.
Hey, you should do this
I don't know.
in Africa, bro. I set it up. Bet. All right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just believe it's gonna happen because now, because sometimes, like, right after college, I met some really cool people, like Leo, right? I met Leo
Yeah.
after college, So I just believe there are certain people,
Yeah.
man,
I
that
met Marco after
Yeah.
college. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
just for sure, it's gonna happen. Just certain people, but on the other side, bro, I feel like just overall, right? The opportunity, have more opportunity of meeting like that people who's gonna be closer to you in college than if you weren't in college, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
My question, the question I wanted to add into this a little bit is like, how did y'all feel, and did y'all ever consider like the military? Because the one thing I will say, man, when people do come out the military, if you know, as long saying that everything went cool, right?
Yeah.
They be in some good ass
Yeah.
positions, bro.
but
They be in a they be in like the opposite position of us. Like they got, they got their VA loan, you know what I'm saying? They can use
right,
their VA loan to buy a crib. They got consistent money coming in. Sometimes they have like the same like credential that pretty much is like if they went to college as far as getting a job too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they do go to school after that, then they could, a lot of times get that for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if
So
you had student loans prior to going in, like they'll pay off your
right.
student loans also
yeah.
after you do
Yeah. So
your
what it
time, and so to that point, like, yes, I absolutely did consider the military at one point in particular. Like, like I was really, this was obviously after I had graduated, but I'm not gonna lie, the biggest reason why I considered it was because of like student like debt forgiveness, like the fact that they would have paid off my student loans. I was like,
Right.
man, that was so enticing for me at that time. I was just like, man, I'm I'm the thing that sucks about student loans, and like me and P were just talking about this the other day, it feels like almost this like haunting thing that's just lingering over your head all the time. Like it's just
bro.
like
It's a
it's just
little
no
dark
matter
cloud, bro, that just be rain. You know,
no
like the
matter
little
how
cartoons,
bomb
wherever you walk, it just rains on you, bro. Like, damn.
it don't matter how bomb I am, how sexy I am, how financially like sexy. I was just like them damn student loans is just always right there, just staring at me, and I'm like, damn, man, like so I ain't gonna lie, like there was one point in particular, I was like, man, maybe I should just go into the military, man, and just like like do this, maybe serve my like 5 years, and just be done, like like. But to your point, P, like that's if everything goes well. Like
Right.
there could be a situation that it doesn't. Like
Mhm.
there are other alternatives like the reserves and stuff like
Right.
that. Like where you have to do a little bit more time. Like you might have to do 6 to 8 years. Like in the reserves, but like at least like you're not being called to active duty unless like a crisis happens. Kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I absolutely was considering
Yeah.
It was a hell no for me, right? It was hell no. But there's a reason though, right? Because growing up in Liberia, bro, and being through war, it was like I was traumatized, right? In the sense
Yeah.
that I don't want to like ever want to like put myself in a situation again. So that's something I never thought about.
Yeah.
At any given point, there was like people who came on campus, like how you had like the recruiters and stuff like that. Like I'm not even talking to you, bro. Like I'm good.
it.
Like no, I never
I'm
thought about it
good.
at one point ever. Yeah, I always been good. Like nope,
You said you
nope.
could keep your little water bottle, huh? I'm good, bro.
That ain't for me. That ain't for me. He said, I got my own. I'm okay.
Yeah, I never thought about it, man. Because yeah,
Yeah.
especially when you hear he's like, oh, you're black, you go to the army, they're gonna send you on the front line, you're gonna get killed first.
Like a horror movie. That's
Yeah, like
crazy.
goddamn, they're gonna send me up in the front line to
Yeah.
get shot first. Hell no, I
But
ain't going.
but also, P, to your point, you said like like another reason why I considered it was because like of how all the benefits that come along with it, right? Like
Right,
a lot of people in the military get married specifically and have kids
right,
specifically because of the benefits that come along with that. You get certain incentives for getting married. You get certain incentives for having a kid. You get certain incentives for going and buying a house and those types of things. And so like there are pros to it, of course. Like there's
right.
pros and cons to everything,
Yeah.
but like those pros were a little enticing for a while. Like I was considering it. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. Now look
Yeah.
at Casting comment. He's like, yeah, college is worth it if you're getting a high level degree or if you have a scholarship. No,
Yep.
to the point, don't go, no point to go in debt for a liberal arts degree. The experience is better than education most times. And I have a degree, man. Like
Yeah.
the experience for me, I think my best part of college was the experience, bro. And because to be
Yeah.
honest, I don't think I really reflected on my overall college experience when it comes to learning, bro. I feel like I learned a lot more when I got out of college than when I was in
Absolutely.
For
college.
sure.
I know that sounds terrible. But I never really learned in college because most of the time I wasn't just learning, right? Because
You
I was
just
just like
memorized.
memorize stuff. I
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
really learning because I wasn't passionate about any of my classes. Like this is something I
Mhm.
want to do, so I
Yeah.
never really care about trying to retain the information. You
Absolutely.
know, But I feel like once I graduated college now, like, all right, what am I trying to do in my life?
Yeah.
That's when I really became really serious with my self
Yeah.
education. And over time, bro, I feel like I learned a lot, way more than I ever did in college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what happens really, like when you be going to them little counseling meetings and stuff, I don't think they tap in enough to like what you're actually good at and what you like doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? If somebody was just what are your skills? Like, and don't be like, you don't just tell me like you know what I mean? Like, what do you do naturally well? And
Right.
then
Yeah.
what do you like to do?
Right.
And if you can compare, if you can combine that, maybe we can find something that's in that pocket that, have you ever heard about this? You might, at high school, there's a lot of shit you just never heard
Yeah.
about. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, so even like you said, when you go to college, a lot of us is undecided
Right.
for a while because it's like,
Right.
we're just figuring out what even is out, you know. And to be honest, if you're taking like the I don't know what's the core classes or whatever, if you're taking the basic
Right.
classes in the first 2 years, you're still not even learning about what's out
Right.
there. Like you just, you know what I mean? So like you said, you get to
Yeah.
junior year and you're still kind of undecided. Like, what am I
Right.
gonna? Now I got to
Right.
make a decision. I'm
Right.
not sure if I learned
Right.
exactly which way I want to go yet. Still, it's been 2 years
Yeah.
later. I'm, you know what I'm saying, however much in debt already. I'm
Right.
finishing. I'm gonna
Right.
finish. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, so yeah, bro,
And that's
it's tough.
And that's like going back to my point earlier, bro. They want you to be confused so you don't figure it out. Because for me, bro, like it was to like almost junior year because before I declared a major. Like my advisor in college, bro, he wasn't never advised me on anything. He never sat down and asked me, "What do you like to do? What do you want to do?" Like
Yeah,
never, right?
yeah,
It was just one of those meetings that just keep me confused. I believe that they just want you there for a longer time
Mm-hmm.
so you can like accumulate more
Mm-hmm.
debt so to keep the system going. Because once you figure it out early, if you go in there I feel like they should have you prep from high school, right? Because if you knew everything from high school, it would have been easier to make that decision into going to college.
Mm-hmm.
But they never tell you in high school, right? Because they want you to go there and it takes 2 3 years to figure it out,
Yep.
and then accumulate more debt before you realize you're already there for 5 years, like
Yeah.
$80,000 in debt, and then
Yeah. I
graduate.
I agree. I don't think high school sets you up for success for college. Like I remember having this conversation like vividly with like multiple friends. I remember syllabus week of my freshman year, syllabus week, when like they were going over like obviously like everything like, you know, like that was like the class was gonna like encompass like and all the things that we needed to know. I felt so dumb because I was just like, bro, like like I don't feel like I'm prepared for this at all. Like, and I felt like I was like I'm pretty smart. Like I'm not dumb.
Right.
Like, you know, like but I felt so stupid going into syllabus week. My first week of college, I was just like, bro, I don't even know where to start. Like I don't know any of this stuff, you know, kind of thing. So I agree with you entirely. I don't think high school prepares us for college at all. Like I honestly don't think the education system from the get go sets us up for success. I mean,
yeah,
I'm talking about from like stuff like that, you know, unless you had access to like you know, maybe private schools and like, you know, like or maybe like, you know, schools that like actually focus on things, you know, but like even like the things that like really we need to learn to prepare us for the world, like to your point, Diamond, and what you said
Right.
earlier, financial literacy and all that, all those things like economics, like, you know, stocks, all those types of things. Those aren't things that we ever learn in school,
Right.
you know, like at
mhm.
point, you know, there's a reason, you know. But yeah.
What do y'all wish that y'all would have learned in high school? Like, what do you wish, and how could somebody have got you like tapped it into you the right way too? Because there's certain things I know I wish that I would have like
Mm-hmm.
learned, but if they had a class on it, would I have even taken? I'm trying to think about the young me for real.
Yeah.
Like I would have, you know what I mean? Like if it wasn't, because if you know, like you still trying to figure out, you want to
Right.
be kind of cool. You starting to, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, have a little gear. You know what I'm saying? There's girls around for the first time. You know,
Right.
like you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like what I wonder what would have happened to happen for me to even take that stocks credit
Right.
you know what I mean, taxes class.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like what would push me to go? Because if they did have that class, I'm trying to think would I have even went?
Yeah.
You know
I mean,
what I
for
mean?
me, I think I would, right? I think if they were part of like the core, like the requirement, you know, like how we have
Yeah.
those dumbass classes that we have to go to in high school that we have to go
Yeah.
to. It was like part of the requirement. You need these classes to graduate,
Yeah.
right? I feel like if that was the requirement, I think we all would have gone
Yeah.
there and like,
Yeah,
and
if it
we would
was
like be able
required
to,
for sure.
right? It should be required, bro. Because I think like algebra, bro. I don't algebra, bro. Nothing wrong, but I'm not doing anything in my life right now with algebra. Let's be honest. Not
Right.
really. Because all the other things that I learned, in high school, all those other, I spent so much time, bro. I'm not even using any of those things. And most of the
You're
stuff that
not
I'm
you're not
using
you
now,
you're not messing around with the Pythagorean theorem.
I don't even remember. That's the funny thing. I don't even remember what that is. what that is.
What that is?
What
What
that is.
that
I,
is.
I don't remember, bro. Like right now, I can't even do this. I don't know what you're talking about, but one thing I do know.
Oh
Like,
my god.
like I don't know, man. Like all those other, what I'm saying? Like I feel like there has to be like a core requirement, like because I believe financial literacy, bro. Because most of our life is gonna be about financial literacy, bro. Because things we need to do, like if you look at the stats on divorce and marriage, sometimes all because of money, right? I think those things should be very very important for especially young kids,
Yeah.
18 in high school.
Agree.
That should be the requirement. I agree, but they don't teach us that, bro. They don't teach us credit. They don't teach us all those things that gonna benefit us, right? Because now, I believe that if they would have taught us those things earlier, we would have had a whole different mindset going to college, and then we would have think, oh, hold on, I can do these, I can start investment, I don't have to do all these things. Now you want to like pivot, now you want to change and not follow that
Yeah.
path. So they're not gonna do that. They want you to go and figure, and be part of the system. So they're not gonna give you the right tool and the right equipment for you to being able to not be part of the system. I
Yeah.
believe.
And just to tap on that real quick, because there's just a quote that I heard one time, and it was like why would the lions teach the zebras how to escape?
Exactly, fact.
You know what I'm saying?
How?
Like, and it's kind of like, and it makes sense when you think about that. Like it's not taught in there because at certain points, like the people that's running those businesses are going to
Right,
want to hire the people that's coming through.
Yeah.
And if they,
right,
what I mean, there's least or less lions than what I'm saying, zebras in the world. You know what I'm saying? But why would they teach them how to
fact,
get away? Like, why would they teach?
fact,
Why would they teach you how to build wealth on your own? Then you don't
fact,
need, you don't
fact.
need me.
You
You
don't
know
need
what
it.
I mean? Like you don't
Yeah,
need if I knew how to
fact.
do stock right at 18 and I took
Right,
that year off and made a certain amount of money before would I have went to college? Would I
hell,
have needed to? You know what
exactly,
I'm
bro.
saying? So
Even like let's
yeah,
look at credit, right? Why would they teach you about credit? Because now the credit card company wants you to be in debt so
yeah,
you
they
can
want
pay interest,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Why would they teach you that? They're not
Yeah.
going to teach you all those things. They want you to like
Agree.
use their credit card, not pay it before that due time, so that you can
Yeah.
accumulate interest every month and make them rich. They're not going to teach you all those
Agree.
things. Like
that's a
why?
fact.
Agree.
You
You know,
know?
to that point,
That's a
like
fact.
to Diamond's point, if it were a requirement, I think obviously we would have to
Right.
attend, right? 'Cause it is a requirement. But I also think that like a big piece of that is like if I'm going to retain that knowledge or not. Like I think a big piece of that is on the teacher too, like the way that is presented to us.
Right.
Like because I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure we can all vividly remember. I remember my teachers that were super dope and like that I like actually like enjoyed going to class. And I remember the people that I was just like, bro, I'm just here. I'm here. I'm here so I don't get fined. Like
For
that's,
sure.
so I also
Yeah.
because granted, there's nothing sexy about credit. There's nothing sexy about
Right.
stocks. Nothing sexy about financial literacy. So I think a big piece of it is like how it's presented to you too.
Right.
Like kind of because
Yeah.
I think that does play into a huge because like thinking about it back to like 16, 17-year-old Z, like if I would have really been sitting in a class like really like tuned into the teacher that was talking about stocks and credit and all that stuff, I think I think a piece of me would have been tuned in because like P, you've known this for years. Like my parents, my mom instilled into me for the longest time how important credit
Yeah.
was. Like
Right.
I've always been very diligent about my credit.
Right.
I've always been
Always.
diligent all throughout my entire life, kind of thing. So I think had things like that had come up in school, like during coursework, I think that would have been something that I tuned in. Now stuff like stocks and stuff like that, that might have went right over my head. Like
Right.
I didn't even like get into stocks until more recent years in life, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But like I think a big piece of it is how it's presented to you,
No,
and
of course.
to that point, I think a big reason why our system fails us is because like we're talking about education where it's a system that like is not necessarily set up to
Right.
fail, but like you have to think teachers are like glorified babysitters,
Right.
like and they don't get paid enough, like so
That's
like
that's the point. I was gonna add to it, bro. How good could you really be when you're making 28,000 a year?
Yeah.
It's like there's no incentive to, you know what I mean? Like there's no
Right.
incentive.
Yeah, like the only teachers, like I think the teachers who truly do care do go above and beyond. Like, and I do truly appreciate those people who do have that passion about it. Like, they're not there to just because they are only making
Yeah.
$1,000, 36,000, and they know it's not a great living, but they're just so passionate about it that they just want like to help spread this knowledge and this information, which I do appreciate people like that. But to that point, if people were being compensated like, you know, fairly for like a requires that should require that, I honestly think our education systems would be way better. You know, like if teachers were actually paid a salary enough to care, you know, like kind of thing, you know. But I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about as to why I think
Right.
why just the systems really in general are the way they are, you know. But the thing that we're doing now is having these conversations now to help break that mold, you know, like
Yeah.
and out, you know. But obviously, you know, overall, is college worth it? You know, that's
Yeah. If I was getting paid $28,000 a year to teach, bro, I would just go in there and build some bullshit.
granted, like the curriculum is built for most of those teachers. I ain't gonna lie, like, you know, like
Diamond's a dummy, man.
For real, bro.
but they're just
It's tough. I mean, it's tough, and that's why I've heard too, like people that kind of like even go to school for education and then like
Right.
start working as a teacher. They said like nowadays, I think they're only like only doing it for like 2-3 years, and they're like, bro, I got to figure something else
yeah,
out.
Yeah.
Like I got to figure something else out, bro, because I can't. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Nah, you know what I mean? And then you know how high school kids be
Boy,
sometimes, bro. They in
Exactly,
there throwing
bro.
pencils at me and shit. I make
boy,
28,000. You know what I'm saying,
boy, like
bro? And that's the crazy thing is like so many people have like the answers, but would I don't
Right.
know if I have the interest to go be a
yeah,
teacher.
Right.
I don't, you know, I don't even know how much could they pay y'all to go be a teacher right now? Like
no,
like
I,
80,000 right now,
no,
no.
100,000,
no.
I mean, am I gonna be a gym instructor? Then I would do that. I'll be a gym teacher.
100,000 for the gym teacher is
Gym
insane.
teacher. That'd be. I'll sign up. But anything else than that, I'm not gonna sign up. But then going back to this is my point. Then, so should college be free? Then, what do you guys think? Should college
Absolutely,
be free?
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of other countries where higher education is free, and or if not free, it's way more affordable. You know, like so
Right.
there should be way more opportunities for college to be. We all know the reason why college isn't free. We live in a capitalistic society. That's
Yeah,
why.
Fact.
You know,
Fact.
like,
nothing's free, right?
mhm.
We live in the land of the free where everything costs, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, absolutely, college should be free. Like I said, I mean, there's plenty of other countries that, like, you know, healthcare is free.
Right.
You know, like higher education is free and stuff like that. And I think that is something that does need to be implemented. You know, like kind of we
Right. So would you be okay with paying a little higher taxes, right, in order
yeah,
for it to like fund over a college tuition? Would you be okay with that? Let's say
yeah,
okay, tax you a little bit more. All right. Little diamond right there might want to go to college one day. Zenas, we're gonna tax you X percentage, to contribute. That's something you're okay with.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like if we knew that like that was like a part of our like society,
Right.
the reason why I think so many people are against that is because like it's just not something that's been built into our system for
Right.
so long. And we're also like we live in the society. We live in a country where we're taught to be selfish. You know,
Right.
like everything's so individualistic. It's all about self. You know, like there's no sense of community. You know, like we're really like within our country. So that's why I think those people aren't willing to pay more taxes. Oh, I'm gonna get taxed more. Now, granted, I'm in a financial position like by the grace, like I like if they could tax me more, I could afford it, you know. But like I
Right.
understand, like, you know, for somebody who's struggling to get
Right.
by when they're just,
Yeah.
you mean I pay $2,000 more in taxes over this next year for Diamond's child to go to school?
Right.
No, I'm not doing that. You know? So
Yeah.
that's why I think it is important to tax the rich. You know, like I do think it isn't like the people who are in the top 1% and stuff like that. Like I think they should be taxed
Right.
more. You know, like
Right.
because they can't afford it. You know, ultimately at the end of the day. But I mean, it is what it is, man.
Right. So then my question would be, let's say if you guys are on like the board, right? And it asks you, Zena Ramond, what would you change over about the entire college experience right now in America? Like, what would you change? What would you like, want to see different right now? If you're on the board making that decision about just tweaking some things about college, what would that be? One thing that you like to change?
Like if we were starting our own college, how would we make it
Right,
different
Yeah.
for other people?
right. How
Kind
do
of.
we make a difference? Correct, right. So
I think
what would you
you
do
hit on
differently?
one thing that was dope. That Diamond is just like having real and honest conversations about what the students want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
with the counselor. I think that's the big thing is just like offer some type of direction. You know what I mean? Because I mean, college people don't understand. Like when you get there, bro, it's
It
overwhelming.
is.
It
It's a
is.
lot, right? It's like a bunch of different things, different programs, organizations.
Mhm.
Yo, you should come to this. This is, intramurals, trying to work. It's just a lot. You know what I'm saying? There's parties every week. It's a
Yeah.
lot, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't really know where to start.
Yeah.
And there's everything around me,
Right,
bro. I got Google Eye. I'm trying to
right,
do everything. I'm trying to still do music. I'm trying to do everything. So I think just having those honest conversations with the students about like, you know what I mean? How can, what are you really what are you first interested in
Mhm.
and what
right,
do you like to do? You know what I'm saying?
right,
And then like give them like a list of like these are some types of things. Like they kind of do it, but I think just a little more in tune with that would be like I guess a start, man. But
right.
it's yeah, it's tough. I don't know. What else you guys see?
Yeah, I agree with you. More like self-tailored um, journey throughout college would be important. Like I do agree with you wholeheartedly. I also wanted to tap in with Henry. Henry said you got to pay to play the game, boys. Absolutely. Like it takes money to make money. We were just talking
Right,
about.
Mhm.
Honestly, like I'd implement just like what we were talking about before. Courses that are geared towards financial literacy.
right,
Like so, like learning all the things like in order to thrive in a society. Like certain things like credit, stocks, all that stuff. Like in order to really, and I mean even outside of that, just like teaching adults how to adult,
right,
I think would be imperative. Like I'm not talking about just credit and stuff like that. How to go and find things like not just a job that like that is just going to be a job, but like actually like something that is going to be worthwhile for you in your career and those types of things. Like actually like figuring out ways to like actually survive and thrive in this society. And I think that those are things that need to be implemented more. Like we talked about credit, financial literacy and all that stuff. Like adulting is hard. Like
right,
I says adulting, there's a lot to adulting, and a lot of it we didn't figure out until we were just knee deep in it. Like, and it's
right,
just like you
We still
figured it out
figuring
on the way.
it out. Still
With
figuring it
right,
out.
day, like they're still like, and that's just the name of the game. Like, granted, there are some things that you just have to figure out on your own, but we had nobody to tell us how to do
right,
these things. Like um honestly, like to that point, like a lot of people who are in certain financial situations, they pass that information on to like their like next of kin and stuff like that. But for people like us, like typically people who come from our skin color, we don't have that information. Like
right,
and how to do stocks and how to do all this stuff. Like we don't have access to that. Like kind
right,
most of the time. I'm not gonna say always, but most of the time we don't have that information. So I think implementing that into the curriculum is very imperative. Like so
right.
that
Facts.
absolutely that I incorporate into my college
That
immediately.
For
core
sure.
that core system too, right? Like
Mhm.
those that core, like the core
You
classes.
have
Put that the one of those classes got to be that. You know what
it's
I
a
mean?
Right,
requirement. You can't
right,
you can't not go to that class. Like it's
right, right. And like Nikki said, college is a
yeah.
business. Of course, that's fact.
Mhm.
Because I feel like
Big
the goal is not
business.
really, yeah, the goal is not really to like be honest to teach us. I think the goal is to just be able to like profit from us. So if I would have to start, man, like Ramon mentioned earlier, I think I would really emphasize on counseling, like real counseling.
Mhm.
Before marriage, I'm sure most people require like marriage
Yeah.
counseling, right? Before it's something that you do. And I think for college, man, in my school, if I do have to like start over, it's definitely gonna be like a good counselor, right? To guide you through the entire process. What is it going to be like? What are some of the expectations, things that you need to do? Are you aware of these debt that when you graduate, this is the amount you're going to owe?
Hmm.
Break down the numbers to me like, damn, do I want to if I finish with my program right now, if you don't have any scholarship, this is how much you're gonna have in
Yeah.
debt, right? And one thing
Facts.
I'll also implement is like just getting rid of some of these BS courses, bro, that's not applicable, and replacing that with like something that Z mentioned earlier that would be beneficial overall.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
for me, a good counseling program that actually teaches the kids to like understand like what are you getting into, right? Because for me personally, bro, I was just signing document on fast food, like, all right, grew, I put
Hell
this
yeah.
paycheck, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
am I
you said I could get, you said I could get 5,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, bet.
Also, uh, something else I would incorporate too is more field trips. Like I know that sounds like very surface level, but like I used to love field trips as a kid, and I could almost think that like, and I'm being obviously more intentional field trips, but like actually like like whatever course it is that whatever it is that you're studying, actually going
right,
like seeing how this information is applied to this particular career and like how
Mhm.
you can thrive in that particular environment. I think it would be really cool to like actually go out and like like learn about those things. Like if you want to be an accountant, like all right, cool, we're gonna go and like like we're gonna go to Charles Schwab today, and like we're gonna like learn from these particular accountants and like what
right,
that their day to day looks
right,
like. Like kind of thing. You're gonna this person for a day, see what their like day to day looks like and all this stuff. And like, oh, I remember like we learned like all this stuff. Like we're learning this in class right now. And
mm-hmm,
I think stuff like that would be
That's
like so
right,
that's a
in
good
middle
idea,
time.
Z.
You
That's
know, I
yeah, but it
absolutely believe like field trips, but like very intentional field trips. Like like I said,
right.
learning how that information is applied. That is absolutely something I would incorporate into my college expeditiously.
No, that would be
that's what
amazing because
that's dope.
if you
That's
go
dope.
if you go there, you see like, damn, they're sitting at the desk all day, 9 to 5. Maybe I don't want to be an accountant no more.
Exactly.
Maybe I have
Fact.
a better.
But being able to
Fact.
see that, have access to that, like I think is like because I think a lot of it in college is like we're just trying to figure it out, right? Like to your point, Diamond, like I didn't declare I didn't declare my major until junior year in college,
Yeah,
kind of thing. I
Most
was
people don't, I feel like.
kind of just like figuring it out, like and still to this day, like I like if we could go back, I would have changed one of my majors, kind of
right,
thing. But to that point though, like if we were actually able to see what like our day-to-day life would look like and stuff like that in those particular career paths and stuff like that, I think that would have changed so many people's perspective. Like right then and there, they'd be like, all right. And that's why I think starting those things from like freshman year, where you can actually see,
mm-hmm,
all right, cool, if you want to be a psychologist, if you're like in this particular major, this is what your career trajections can look like. Your
right,
day-to-day is going to look like too. Like like if you wanted to be if you're a psychology major and you want to be a psychologist, this is what this is going to look like, and this is like how you're going to apply this information to this particular like like environment and stuff like that. And I think that would help people just like be able to like visual, because I'm a very visual person, right? So I think being able to visualize that, I'd be like, you know what, I do not want to sit here and take clients, like them for like the next like like 10 hours of my day and like just like hear them rant about the problems. That honestly, like that probably would stress me out. So I'm not actually gonna go ahead and pursue this career. So
right.
Yeah, that's a fire one.
So what advice will you what advice will you give to your son right now? Let's say you have a child and he or she want to go to college. What advice will you give to them right now? Knowing everything we just talked
mm-hmm,
about and knowing how the entire system works, what advice will you give to them?
mm-hmm. P, I'm gonna let you take this one first.
Um, first off, I'm in my uncle era still right now, man. So I, listen, I don't know about kids, but nah,
No,
man.
no,
But
no more you don't know about.
nah, I don't play like that, man. But nah. To be honest, I think it's a piece of what we've already been saying. It's
Yeah,
like like we can't count on the counselor to do that, right? At some point, we got to be. If it was my kid, we got to
yeah,
be. What do you really like? I think that would be the difference. Is like not like this is what I think you should do. It's like what do you really
Right,
like? All right, I think college could be a good thing, but you know what I'm saying, like this is we're telling them the same thing that we're
mm-hmm,
talking about. You're gonna probably be in some debt after. Let's make sure we get a little serious. If you really want to go, let's get serious about these scholarships
right,
first off. That's what I would have for sure done. I would have applied for
right,
more scholarships for sure. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? I would tell them get serious about these scholarships, man. What do you actually like to do? You know what I
right,
mean? At that point, it's like for real. You know what I mean? And then okay, this is some types of things that's in that thing, in that same realm. We might want to be looking at this. And then kind of like you said, just breaking down these other pieces too. Maybe, push them like before they get out of college, like, I'm gonna put you in a credit stock class because
Right.
I know they done
Yeah.
got them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna learn about some of this stuff that might, when you go to college, they'll start making a little more sense if you do go in that realm. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's a couple pieces of advice that I would drop on them.
Shout out. Mickey said, "Tell them to go to school for things that'll make the money." And then he said, "No, it's not what you like. Tell them to go to school for money." Now, to Mickey's point though, like I do think in order to thrive in our society, you do have to make money,
Right.
like and in the abundance, like, so I absolutely do agree that like you want to position your child, whether that be my son or my daughter, whoever
Right.
I'm having that conversation with, I want them to be set up for success at the end of the day. That's really the biggest thing. Now as far as like, like classes about like, um, financial literacy, like learning about stocks and like, like credit and all that stuff, that's absolutely something that I would enroll them in. But also like those are things that like my child would have already been set up. Like
Right.
if we're like my daughter or my son is about to graduate, they're 17 going on 18, about to graduate, they already know like probably a lot of these things and what that looks like. I'm not waiting until that time to teach them a lot of these things. Like those are things that are going to be implemented young, because I want my children to thrive. But also, to that point, like I think I'd be in a financial position where I could pay for my child in college. But I also, like, I'm not paying for your school. At the end of the day, like, you need to figure that out on your own, whether you need to take out loans or whether you need to figure out a scholarship. I'll do everything within my power to help you, to assist you with
Right.
that. But I'm not going to pay. I feel like they're just not going to take it as serious, kind of thing. Like I think the piece of it that like made me take it more serious was like I knew that, like, granted, like we didn't understand like the severity of those things,
Right.
that like out those student loans and what that looked like, like then. But like at the end of the day, we knew that like we had to pay this money back at some point, like kind of thing.
Right.
I think when you like when that's in the back of your mind, it makes you like maybe want to work harder for it, like, or
Right.
like maybe I should work harder to get a scholarship. Then, like, if I don't want to be sitting here with like $40,000 of debt after I graduate, then maybe I need to work my ass off and get that Daniels Fund
Right.
scholarship or whatever the case, kind of thing. So but really, I think the things that I would tell my child right now, like if they were about to go to school or considering it, kind of thing, is to Peace Point, is like just essentially like what it is truly that like is going to make you happy,
Right.
like like okay? Because we live in a particular time. To Mickey's point, like it's about making money,
Right.
but like we live in a particular period where you can make money off of
Bro,
anything. You
Facts.
can literally.
I was actually waiting to time in just so I could
Right.
tell Mickey that.
Right.
You can make money doing anything nowadays. There's
Right.
people making, 500,000 a month playing video games.
Facts.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But you just got to be serious about whatever that thing is, and it's easier
Right.
to be serious when you like doing it. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So that's what I was going to throw in there.
Facts. I
That's why I think it's
agree.
important, because like, yeah, like you can make $500,000 a month off of video games, but if you hate video games, that's probably not something that you're going to
Yeah,
do
Right.
fact.
at the end of the day.
Right.
So I think it's important to be passionate and purposeful in what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you're more likely to see that through, right? Oh, here go that boy. Here
There
go
go
that.
the goon himself, man. The goon himself.
Oh my gosh. Listen, I'm not trying to cut you off, right? What I'm saying is this. You can make money from doing whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
But to me, I would be honest with my kids,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
If we're talking about going to college, I'm
Mhm.
going to tell them motherfuckers, go to school, do this and do that. Because if you tell them go to school for what you like, motherfucker going to go to school for 4 years to do criminal justice. What the fuck is that? no, no disrespect to nobody, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, they could be in debt and they can't even pay for that shit.
Right.
And I
So for me,
and I get what you're saying to the point. I get what you're saying to the point of like, if you're trying to go to school, why and you're gonna take on this debt, why
Right.
wouldn't you get something that you could pay off, right? Like
thank you.
if you trying to do something that don't, then maybe you don't even need to go to school, right? Like that's
Right.
I
My
get that
point.
point. I
Yeah,
do get
that's
that
my
point.
that's my point because, bro, I believe, right? College is king. People hate to hear that. In a sense, right? Think about it. Back then, right? They had midwives. These motherfuckers, these people never went to school,
yep,
right? They never went to school, but they helped women give birth, right? And those babies were okay. I realized that these people realized, like, hey, think about it. We can make money from this shit. These people already been doing it. They've been doing this shit. Why not come up with a degree that will tell you go to school to do this? You can just do this, because if you do it, something happen, you're gonna be held responsible. And people in life love titles. Who don't want to be a doctor? Who don't want to be a lawyer? If you walk in a room right now with 10 dudes and everybody saying, "Oh, I'm a medical doctor," you just come up, "Oh, I'm a plumber." Everybody look at you like this. He's a dumbass motherfucker. Because who the fuck is who the fuck is a plumber when everybody is software engineer, medical doctor, lawyer, right? So for
Until
me,
them
I
pipes
feel like
bust. Until them pipes bust, and they need that bust. Then they need. I bet you all 10 of them boys is gonna call them.
But again, to your point, you're right. But let's be honest. If you, Dama, and I, and Zin was to walk to a girl, and all of your motherfuckers say I went to college, and I say I'm a high school dropout, bro, who she gonna respect first? Let's be realistic. She gonna respect the motherfucker that went to college. I might have more money than y'all motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? But just the mere fact you mentioned college, people minds sometimes get blown away. I'm not saying education is not good.
Right.
Education to me is something you have to do, you have to learn every day.
Yeah.
There are people who, half of the people that went to college are broke. No disrespect. Again,
Maybe more than
no
half.
disrespect. Yeah,
I was
More
gonna
than
say
that.
it might be more than
Yeah.
half, honestly.
more than half. And half of the motherfucker who never went to college are rich. How can that be possible? So for me, it's like, if you're going to school, go to school for something that will make you make money.
Yeah.
That's the benefit. In America, bro, America is one of the most corrupt motherfuckers that tell you medical assistant. Why would you go to school to do medical assistant? Why? Why? Tell me the reason why you need a medical assistant. Tell me. To take medical record?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the things they can they can probably train you, right? But at the end of the day, they don't want
That's
to
what I'm
train you.
saying.
Yeah,
Those
they
are
want
They
you
things.
to
could
Those
learn.
are
probably train
things.
you.
Yeah, you
They can train you
train.
to learn.
Yeah.
But the whole shit is about money making, right? They tell you, motherfucker tell you, I'm a behavior therapist. They deal with bad motherfuckers. They can't even teach them how to be right. You know what I mean? So my thing is educate your kids, again, as you said, on your credit. That, you see me, that's what I do now. All my kids have cash out card. I put money on it. I
Yeah.
teach them about money management, how to manage their money. Those are the things
Absolutely.
I teach. Those are the things I teach them. I think those are education to me.
Yeah.
But just wanting your kids to go to college and be like, oh, do what you want, do what you like, bro.
Yeah.
They're gonna come with debt that you can't even pay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Erica said earlier, asked them what skill knowledge they want to learn. To the point, like, they should want to go to school ultimately, like, and I'm not just saying go to school, they could go to trade school, like whatever it is that they want to do. Like, but at the end of the day, like, I got to know that you're like really invested in this. Is this truly what you want? Because at the same time, like, even like at 18 years old, between 18 and 20, I could change what I wanted to do, kind of thing. Like, so that's why I think it's still imperative to go to school and like learn something at the end of the day. Like, because like at the end of the day, you're still learning like how to advance your life,
Right.
and, like, like how to further your education and your knowledge that you're taking in. I do think that is still a very important piece. But at the same time, it's just like, all right, what is your plan after, like, to do with this?
Right.
And I'm not saying you have to have it all figured out right now. Because at 18, I didn't have it all figured out, like, kind of thing. I still don't have it all figured out, but I'm finessing my way through this, like, through life and getting to this money, like Mickey said, because those are all things that you can learn on the way. But like at the same time, like, I got to know what it is that you're invested, that you're bought into, because like you're more likely to see those things through because like you actually care about it. Like, if you truly want to make a living, if you want to make $100,000 a month off of video games, all right, cool. Let's set up a list of like how you're gonna make that happen. Like, are you gonna be going to video game competitions? Are you gonna be like, streaming every day, 5 days a week? Like what? Tell me what steps you're gonna take to make that happen, and I fully support that. But you gotta have a plan. And I think that's the biggest thing with my children that I would tell them is just like, I don't care what it is that you want to do. As your parent, I'm going to support anything and everything that you want to do as long as it makes sense.
Right.
And the only way that makes sense to me is tell me what it is that you're gonna do. Like tell me the plan that you have, and we'll figure it out. You know, but at the end
For
of the day, you
me,
gotta get to this money though, because you ain't finna be living off of me. Like,
Why not?
if they
No,
if they want to go to college, I'm telling them what to go to school for, bro. If you want to learn something like regular shit, we can talk about it. College, I'm telling you, go to school for this shit, go make money. Don't go, don't go over
That's
there and spend
a fair point.
4
That's
years.
a fair point.
right.
Yes, no, I'm being honest, bro.
Because
I'm
we
just
all said we all said that we wished we would have had a different major, right? So if
yes,
Right,
somebody
right,
told us like do this instead, maybe, you
right,
know what I'm saying? Like
right.
maybe, right? So
I feel
like,
like,
you know,
right. I mean, going over what you guys just mentioned, I think I'm gonna do the combination of everything, right? Because for me, I'm gonna like bring down all the jobs, like half the job title, and this is how much you're gonna. This is your earning potential with a psychology degree. It's gonna be like $50,000,
Yeah,
right? I think I'm gonna make everything is clear, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna give my suggestion. Something like the sciences, the engineering, the
yeah, yeah,
technology. Those are
yeah.
the things that because now you're not going because you don't love any of those things, honestly, right? It's not something that you have a passion. Like if you have a specific passion, then maybe I can help guide you to work on that passion. But if you just want to I just want
Yeah.
to get a degree, I'm going to guide you into those degrees that are more lucrative. So when you graduate, you have a job, you have a higher earning potential, and be able to
Yeah.
like pay back those debt for sure.
Yep.
Because I can just be like, just do whatever you want, right? Because why didn't they? I just want to be an art major. Do you know when you just graduate in an art major, it's going to be hard for you to get a
Yeah.
job, right? You're not like Z
Yeah.
said, you're not going to be living off me.
Yeah.
You're not
You
going
ain't
to be driving this
and
living off me.
Ferrari.
low key at 18, we all know we all was part of events. You could probably put on your own little art exhibit around the city, and by
Exactly.
the time you was
yeah.
22, you could probably have a nice little situation set
Right.
up. So
Yep.
I do
Right.
agree with that part of that, right? Like, is if you are going to college, it kind of would make more sense to be like, you know what I mean, to be going for something that makes money. I do get that point, but
Right.
the thing I was saying about figuring out what they like to do is like it might not need to be to college
Yes,
directly if
agree.
Fact.
if we figure out
True,
what you like to do, because
true.
if you like Z was saying, if you go for like technology or to be a scientist or something, you could go, but who's to say you even
Right.
graduate if you hate the shit? Like,
Yeah.
who's to say
Yep.
that you even make it? Like, so now you got debt, hella debt, and you only made it, you got, 2 credits in the junior year, and you was like, bro, I hate all
Yeah.
this shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop out. So you still might have the same debt that somebody that graduated with a different degree has
Yeah.
and no
Right.
degree. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think you kind of have to like it a little bit to be doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's the only thing I was saying. You know what I mean? You
I
might not
agree.
need to go to college, but you gotta kind of like what you do in
Right.
order to really do it for a long time and be
Yeah.
focused. You know what I'm saying?
100,
And I can tell you, in my household, we
100%
finna be
agree.
passionate people. I'm like, you ain't doing nothing unless you love it, baby. Like, if you
Yeah.
don't love it, you ain't doing
If
it.
you,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
you can't
yeah.
like nothing. Like, I like if you don't love it, no, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
What do you mean? What do you mean if you don't love it? Because you don't have to love it, right? If you're good at it, right? I mean, if they are doing something that they are, succeeding at and they don't love it, is that a
Yeah,
problem?
no, like so, like when you're young, like especially as children, like you may not know what you like,
That's
so like
true.
you're just gonna like figure it out. But I'm talking about like at 18, you better have a sense of something that you like that
Right.
you love, like at the end of the day, because like you ain't
So you
like
just don't,
you ain't
like
He gonna
nothing, bro. Like you don't,
he
bro.
gonna
You
be like
really
he
don't
gonna
like
be like
you gotta love
daddy. I
something.
wanna. He gonna be a daddy. I wanna be a whole ass nigga.
This guy.
He said, "You better do that shit with passion, boy."
But if you, I feel like go if you, this guy, this
Do it like
funny,
you mean
man.
it.
Zenas,
Yes,
I
God.
wanna hear what you gonna tell him. What are you telling him?
I'm like, hey, you see what I'm saying? I'm like, look, if you love women, you better figure out how to monetize that. And no, I'm not saying I'm not supporting. Like, I'm not saying go be a pimp or nothing. I'm not saying that. Like, what I'm saying is like
You gotta have
go
passion.
create like a dating app or something. Like you can
Right,
figure out like if
right.
you love
That's
love. All
true.
right, cool. Like
That's
all right,
true.
cool. What we gonna do here? What we gonna do?
Right.
Like so. Yeah.
No,
Y'all niggas are funny,
that's
bro.
true because I feel like if you look at nowadays, bro, there's so many things you can do, right? Because I feel like nowadays we have all the information, so many things that you can do. So for me, going back to you guys' point, if you just want to go to school for something that I believe you don't really need a degree for to put yourself in depth, then and I'm gonna question that decision. Like, what are you doing? Do you know you can like do this without that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like most of the time we never have guidance, right? because we never have people around us who are already done those things. So now we're just like the blind leading the blind, right? But now for us now having those knowledge, it'd be a lot easier for us to be able to like give better decisions to our kids or the people that are around us.
I was going to throw one last thing in there. My pops, one thing that he used to always tell me, this is probably what I would pass on to, is like you don't have to do any one thing, right? I'm not going to push you. You don't have to play football. You don't have to do basketball. You don't have to be in the, but you're going to do something though. Like you're not just going, you're not going to just be kicking it. You're not just going to be kicking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what my pops used to always tell me.
I
Like
respect
you
that.
don't, I'm not going to tell you have to do any one thing. Like you don't have to play football because I used to play football or something like that. Like, but you're going to be doing something. You're going to be doing something. You know what I'm saying? So you're not just going to be kicking it, because when you start kicking it young, that's when you start getting into shit. It's just natural, right? When you kicking it, you getting into shit. So that's probably what I would say is like, just, you're going to be doing something. You know what I'm saying?
I respect
that. And someone said nowadays police department now requires a bachelor degree. Wow, I didn't know that. And also the funny thing, bro, I noticed that it's like most of the jobs, like once you graduate too, they want experience, right? Like how am I gonna get 5 years of experience when I was already in college?
Someone said police department need your degree, bachelor degree, just to take on sirens.
Yeah, you need a
Man, they might need it, bro. They might need it out here, bro. They be tripping.
I was gonna say
they might need it.
At this point, I feel like
they need to take a field trip to a black neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They need
see what I'm saying?
They need more than just training, right? Because I feel like degree is just like the whole thing. I think they need like the training, not just the degree. Because you can get the degree without having that knowledge, but they need, like Ramond said, they need to go into the black community and sit there. This is what you do. If a black guy has his hand in his hoodie, it doesn't mean he has a gun. You know, like just how to learn those things. But it's crazy. Like going back to my point, bro. They're like, you go to college, you get a 4-year degree, and then now you apply for a job, and now they're asking you for 5-6 years of experience. Like, how am I going to get those experience when I already spent 5 years in college? And something makes it even hard, right? It's like it doesn't even make sense, bro.
Yeah, it's a turn up. How would you ever get the experience if you never worked? Like that's, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So
because they want you to lie, bro. They know you're gonna lie. They know you're gonna. Think about it, right? If a hospital wants to hire you, right, without no experience, something happens, they're gonna be responsible for that shit.
Right.
So now they don't want that responsibility. So they're gonna say, hey, this motherfucker came in with a 5-year experience. That's why.
Right.
It's more of liability. They don't want no liability issue on them.
Right.
So they want you to lie. So when something happens, they can put it on you. These people are smart, bro. They know games like that.
Right. But then how do you succeed then? You know, like you said, you graduate. Now we graduate. When I apply for a job, now they require me like have 3-4 years. Like, man, I was in college for like I don't have that experience. And now they're not even gonna hire you, right? They're gonna hire someone else who has the experience over you.
Yeah.
So how does that even make sense? You know?
That's what I'm saying.
The funny thing. I was about to, you know, as funny as that sounds, the funny thing is how many job employers checked. You know what I mean? Like what you was exactly, you know what I mean? So like you could say I did an internship through all the college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
How many times did they even check? And I'd be wondering too, like how many college employers even check if you went to college?
Right.
Like if you say I got a bachelor's,
damn.
How many of your college employers even like look to see, like check with your college? Somebody could have just been like, yo, they could have just interviewed the same day as you, wore the same suit, and said I went to the same college these years.
Yep.
How they gonna know?
Isn't that like didn't that happen with a senator? Didn't a senator or some kind of like politician? Didn't he like lie about like majority of his resume? I could have sworn that was something
in Denver. Yeah, it was a senator in Denver. He lied about every shit.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's not alone.
That's why. Cass said, I think trade schools, electrical engineering, plumbing, mechanics, and more should be the first tier, then college course. If there's a specialty you want to learn, otherwise save that bread and no scholarships. If you don't have scholarships, and invest that money you'd spend on college into what you are passionate about.
Fact.
Let's go. Come on, that's money. That's gems right there.
Absolutely. Like, because at the end of the day, it's just about having a plan, like, and I think that's because, like, I think we can all probably attest our children are going to be like set up for
Right.
success. Like you gonna have a plan. Like you said, you can't plan to do, you ain't gonna plan to do nothing.
Yeah,
You're gonna be
that
doing
you
something.
doing
Like,
something.
just like your dad said, you're gonna be
I
doing
might
something.
let you pick. I might let you pick, but you're gonna be doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Somebody else said, I believe someone lied about being a doctor for many years and got caught. That's why many hospitals now have credential coordinator to run those backgrounds. Absolutely. Like, especially in something like a profession, like if you're a heart surgeon, you better be able to prove that you're a heart surgeon, bro. You ain't about to just be
Before you cut me open,
like,
bro, you're not about to just cut me open, bro.
Baby. Like, hold up, man.
You see, the sad part is, this shit happen in Africa a lot. This shit we're talking about right now happen in Africa a lot. A motherfucker would be a dentist, he's an eye doctor.
That's wild. That's crazy.
Facts, it's true. It's true.
That's crazy.
It's terrible.
No, I'm saying the truth.
No, it's fact. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No,
Could you
it's
imagine?
crazy, bro. Yeah, they specialize in everything.
That boy said, "I'm just a specialist, bro. I do it all, bro." You the ear? All right, come on in. I got you, bro. Come on in.
You know what would be the worst thing to hear? You know what would be the worst thing to hear during surgery? Whoops, I don't know what that is.
or Google that real quick. Google that real quick.
Hey, can you YouTube what
Google
this
that
is?
real quick.
Like that's the worst thing. Google that. Doing a heart surgery, bro. Google that real quick.
Oh
my god, that's
but
stupid.
going back, I feel like that's one thing for if you want to be like a specialized degree, if you want to be a doctor, yes, then you need to go to college.
Absolutely.
For sure. There's no way around it because I personally wouldn't want anyone to like train me, go perform a surgery on me if you've never been to college. I don't want that. That's when I would require a degree. I want to see it like with my 2 eyes. Show me that degree. Let me see the degree.
I a lawyer too, bro. I don't want nobody representing me that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and another thing that my children will be required to learn, which I honestly might encourage them to study abroad, is like my children will know how to speak another language too.
Yeah.
For real.
I respect that.
That's good.
I think that's really what was crazy is like, like P and I, we talk about this all the time, bro. Like when we were in Europe and stuff like that, there were so many people who we met that like knew how to speak like 4 or 5 different languages. Like that's so crazy to me. Like, because we all know like the worldwide language is money and business.
Right.
Like anybody knows how to talk money, like at the end of the day. I don't care what language you speak, but when you actually can communicate with people in their own native tongue and stuff like that, like shit like that, bro, like you like that's almost business within itself. Like, so my children will absolutely know how to speak another language.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but other than that, man, I feel like if you don't have if you're not trying to go to school to become like a specialist overall, I think there's so many ways to pivot. You can try other things, right? Unless you know what you want to do and you're actually trying to get those degrees that have a higher earning potential, then sometimes then you reevaluate your decision a little bit, right? Figure out what you want to do. But overall, I would say for me, college been a good experience, right? But if I could go back, there are a lot of things I want to do for sure, differently. For sure, differently. Explore more scholarship. Not majoring some of my degree and switching up a little bit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, man, the goal is you all want to make money, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to get a job that'll pay you. So why not get a degree that's gonna make that a lot easier when you graduate? Like, why try to be an art major? Because I know a friend who's who's an art major. He have a lot of loans, and now he work at a restaurant. No disrespect to people who work at a restaurant, but why do you want to school for 4 years? You spend all that money. And now you just work at a restaurant that you could have done without going to school.
But that's why I don't know what one of you guys said guardians. Most people do this shit when they never had no guardians, bro.
Yeah.
Like and you're speaking on that. That's true. If I don't have when we came to the US, we never had no guardians on what the fuck to do. Like nobody was encouraging me to go to school, be a medical doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We gotta learn that shit by ourselves. And then sometimes people make those mistakes when they have no guardians. But my thing is, if you know you fucked up, you can't keep fucking up.
Right.
You feel me? If you know you went to college for the wrong shit, change that shit around.
Yeah.
But some people feel like, okay, I get a bachelor, let me go get a master. Nigga, you put yourself in more debt.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a fact.
Why you want to get a master in something that you're going to get more debt? But some people feel it's okay, since I already did this shit, let me just continue doing it. Maybe when I get a master in it, it will give me more money. But for me, I feel like if you already knew you want to school for something that is already fucked up, like, why can't you go back to school to be a nurse? Why can't you go back to school for
Right.
something else? At least you're in two different rooms, but you can afford to pay for both of them.
Right.
But most
Yeah.
people don't have the guardians, so I feel like people make those mistakes when there are no guardians, bro. Like me, I already know a lot of shit. So you think I would stay here for my kids to fucked up? No. The motherfucker after I shipping them back to Africa.
You go be an eye doctor out there if you want to fuck around.
Yeah. Somebody said start a 529 plan so that they can still get their education regardless if the career requires a degree or not. They may learn how to read and write better. I didn't even know what a 529 plan was until I just looked it up, and
What is it?
it's a college savings program. So shout out to that. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
They can get their education regardless of the career requires.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. See, that's free
Yeah.
game, man. Free game. 529.
529 plan. Yeah, we all learn. You learn something new every day. So shout out. But yeah, man. At the end of the day, I think the biggest thing is like we can talk about this all day, every day. You know, like is college worth it? You know, there's pros and cons to everything. Like you know,
Right.
we can talk about all the other alternatives,
Right.
right? The military. We talked about the military earlier. There's pros and cons to the military. There's
Right.
pros and cons to trade school. You know, there's pros and cons to everything in life. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is having a plan. You know,
Facts.
I think that's something we can all agree. You have to have a plan for something. Like you know, like at the end of the day, you ain't finna be doing nothing. Like I can assure you that. Like to all the youth watching this right now, you are not going to be doing nothing. Like you know, and to all our future kids, your asses is not going to be doing nothing either. I promise you. Like,
Do you think some parents be just wanting to push their kids to school because they just like, bro, it's time for you to move out?
it's time
I
for
know
you
you can't afford.
Yeah.
I know you can't afford it. I know you can't afford it, bro. But you can take that ass to college.
You finna get out. You finna get out. Yeah,
You need to go.
absolutely.
You go. It's time for you to move. And to be honest, on another just point that I wanted to throw in there is like sometimes that is the first opportunity for some people to get out of where they from.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if college gives you some, you know what I'm saying? Like they put you in debt, but they might put you in a position to get out of where you at.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for some people, it might even be worth the debt. Like, yeah, I took on 30 grand, but I would have never been in this neighborhood. I would have never met these people. I would have never left what I was doing. You know what I mean? So for some people, it's even worth it in that sense. So I'm gonna just leave it on that point.
Change of environment is important sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
change of environment, bro.
If you've been in the hood all your life and the hood is all you know, you won't know anything but the hood unless you leave. You know, like it's sometimes the only opportunity that you have to do that is education or, you know, sports, whatever that looks like, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. But absolutely, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Next Monday, right? Can you guys have me on? I have questions for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get it.
Can we do that?
Let's get it, man.
Let's
Come on, man. We're gonna fix it. Yeah,
I have questions. I've been putting my shit down. I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
It's gonna be no, for real. It's gonna. Some people might feel bad, but I have questions.
It's okay.
All right.
Shake it up. Shake it up.
All right.
Shake it up.
All right, next Monday we on.
Yeah, we gonna lock you in. We gonna put you on the schedule, bro. We gonna put you on the schedule, man. Manifest Mondays with Mickey. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Because I have a lot of questions I want to ask, a lot, and I just want to. I want everybody to be honest about it. It's not about relationship, so you don't get scared.
Right.
Yeah, don't be. Hold up, man. Well,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, oh, you might have to submit your questions in advance. Like, we gonna have to write a script for Mickey. Like, hold
yeah,
on,
you know
stick to
what I'm saying?
That's what I don't want. I don't want you guys to know my question. Then you will find the answers.
Yeah.
I don't want
You want to put us on the spot?
I'm not. Yeah.
Put us on the spot a little bit. I'm with it.
Yeah. If not, no, trust me. It's decent shit. I just want to know.
For sure.
Shit, I may not know. I think I know. I just want you guys to talk about it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be cool to shake things up.
Probably 5 questions, and we can just go over everything. I would just ask everybody. We can just go over everything. But the thing is, you gotta be honest. Diamond. You got to be honest.
About what?
Keep it in.
Don't be over there lying. Don't be lying. Don't be over there lying.
Yeah, I ain't putting me in
Shout
the
out to
With
Marco.
spotlight.
Shout out to Marco. So that Marco tapped in.
Right.
Yeah, motherfucker gonna be like, nobody should do that. Straight to the point.
with
For
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cause I'll make sure I tag everybody to watch that shit.
For
Oh,
sure.
All right. So before we wrap
If y'all want, I can go on live and invite you guys to come on. You want to do that? Either way.
I mean,
yeah,
we have to like host it, so that will happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Either
Okay.
way,
yeah.
we can do it that way.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But before we end the live, you know, like, so final thoughts on, is college worth it or not? Shout out to let's see.
I wish she came
Marcel.
earlier, man. I wish she came earlier. Whoever's
Yeah.
heard 5HH.
She gonna
She
come.
said
She
no,
gonna come
college is not.
Monday. She gonna come Monday.
She said no.
She coming
She
Monday.
said no. College is not.
I wish she would have came earlier, man, because I know we about to
Yeah.
wrap.
You're
I
right.
would have loved it. I would have loved to have that conversation. Yeah, we should come next Monday, but yeah, let's
For
just
sure.
I guess just to wrap it on just one word, yes or no. College worth it.
Nope. No
What
disrespect.
you
No.
going?
It depends.
Nah, see, he gonna be doing this next week.
I like Marco's answer. Yes and no. It's a bit of both.
I
Right.
told you, right?
Yes and
Ramond,
no.
I told you, right? Dama gonna be, you gonna be.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. It depends on the mood I'm in. If I'm right now, like,
Not, and I feel you. I feel you about being like a little bit in the middle. But if you had to pick, you got to lean, bro. Sometimes you got to lean.
Yeah.
yes,
Because we all
if
feel
you're
a little.
okay,
Nah,
okay,
nah, nah,
yes,
nah,
if
No,
nah.
yes or no, bro.
Nah.
Yes
you
or
gotta
no.
Lean, bro.
damn.
Yes or no.
Find out next Monday.
Find out next episode.
Bro, roll the credits, baby. Roll the credits.
That's Monday. I'll be back. That's Monday. I gotta think about it. That's Monday. I'll be back.
That was good.
Find out next Monday,
Next
baby.
Monday. Join us on Manifest Monday, and I will give you my honest answer, yes or no. I can think about it right now, for sure.
All right, folks.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna just say yeah. That's my last answer
Yeah.
before we wrap.
Yeah. That's my final. Yes, final answer. Final answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
For sure. And we gonna be ready for you, Mickey. So
Yeah, we're gonna be
you know what I'm saying.
next Monday, man. We tapped in.
Yeah,
All right, boss.
and I just want to say a big shout out to everyone who joined us today, guys.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you guys tuning in
Hey,
every Monday.
follow the page, man. I'm about to
Yeah.
I'm gonna just
Let's say put it in there and I'll pin it.
Yeah, at the Spot podcast before we wrap everything out, man. Next Monday we'll be
Yeah.
here, and y'all can get my answers on if college is worth it or not. Next Monday, next episode. You got that. Make sure you guys follow the page, guys.
Yeah, so we got a couple
Appreciate
more
that.
minutes just to make sure y'all follow the Spot podcast, man. We just pinned it, man. So if anybody who's in here, you know, we have these conversations all the time, man. We love people to, you know, tap in with us and you know what I'm saying. So every Monday we live.
And make sure to tune in next Monday so Diamond can give you his answer.
No, next Monday gonna be crazy. These people gonna tune in.
Oh yeah, we tap. We tap.
Bye, man. Bye.
Good.
Appreciate you joining,
All right.
boys.
All right.
Y'all.